Welcome, Guardians, to the first episode of News from the Nine. My name is Ross Macklin, and joining me today on the lovely podcast bars.
My name is Nick.
My name's Zach.
My name's John.
I'm Mike.
And we'll be discussing a plethora of topics today for all of you Guardians out there who love this game just as much as we do. So bringing up the first topic here, topic number one, is this update, and I'm speaking about the April update, is this update enough content to hold us over until the next update / DLC? I'd like to hear from everyone in this podcast right now. What are your opinions? Nick, we'll start with you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that, it is a good amount of content. I don't know how much. I definitely have a lot of fun with it. But that's just my opinion. So I don't really know. I think that I don't know how long it's going to be till the next update comes out. But I'm having a lot of fun with it so far.
All right, over to Zach.
Thanks, Nick. Personally, I disagree with Nick. I think that it is not enough because me and my fire team, we've done the 41s, we've done the 42s, we've been to the lighthouse, and we're right back at square one. So, yeah, to me, if there's no raid, it's not enough. I mean, the gear is awesome and the sterling silver boxes are dope, but it doesn't impact me at all. So I disagree with you, Nick. I'm sorry.
All right, there we go. Two different opinions. What I like to hear. John, would you like to throw your opinion in the mix?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing that we need to do is we need to define what type of content this is. I mean, a lot of us were expecting, I guess, content comparable to maybe a DLC or even, well, the way Bungie described it was it's going to be a significant update, significant increase in light level, and it's the largest update since the Taken King released. And if you think about it that way, then what you have to do is you have to compare the amount of content that we just received on Tuesday compared to the Sparrow Racing League and the Crucible Doubles. And if you really think about it, Crucible Doubles was nothing more than just a bow wrapped up on a different box, and the Sparrow Racing League was nothing more than just two races that you just grinded through over and over again. And I don't know. I just don't. I think the content is sufficient. I don't think that it's going to carry us over until the next drop, which is speculated to be, I guess, in September sometime. A couple articles, we'll get to them later about it that I've read concerning that. I think the one was on Games Radar. But anyways, do I think the content, though, is good? I think it is good. I do enjoy grinding out the PoEs. It makes considering that I really like numbers and everything, I enjoy watching the numbers increase and increase and increase. I always like to try to beat my high score. I wish Bungie would have promised or delivered what they promised, which was a leaderboard on Bungie.net, and it's completely broken. So as far as how are we doing, or we can't compare each other to other fire teams. I do think it's a little easy though. They recommend guys? What's the recommended light level? Do you remember? I forget.
260.
Is that it? 260?
Well, if you're doing the 42, it ramps up each boss is 310, then 320, then 330.
Yep.
Oh, really?
41s, I'm pretty sure is 260. You can get in there.
Okay, well, if we're strictly speaking about the level 42, and for this week it's the level 3 bosses, the servitor.
Mm-hmm.
If it's recommended 330 light, and I went in at 319, we blew through that. So I think it is too easy, and maybe it's just because of the modifiers that we're currently on as far as precision damage was really nice, but what really made it really easy, I think, was small arms.
Yep, I agree.
Which, we're using our primary, hopefully 75 to 80% of the time.
Yeah.
So,
it ends up just being mobs, the ads that end up being the problem, not the boss.
Right, yeah. The boss is, I mean, as soon as you got your high score and then you got your cumulative score, the ads were, you just burn through those things. We were running just 42 after 42 after 42 today. It was taking us like 10 minutes to do it, and that was if we were taking our time.
A quick interruption. I also think it's too easy strictly because there's no revive timer. So as soon as you're down, you're able to get up immediately. And back when we were facing like skull loss and stuff like that, you had a timer. It was like 30 seconds probably. So I think that.
Yeah, I mean,
That makes it really.
We all
Well,
basically quit for a while. There was nothing really to do with this whole Destiny until this update came out, and now it's almost like it's too easy for the people that have come back. I almost think that they expected some of the worst players to really want to play this. I mean, all of us know that when the Vault of Glass came out and every other raid came out, nobody had anybody to do with it. Teams like us were able to blow right through it, no problem. But there was still a high percentage of people that couldn't even finish it. So I'm starting to think that Bungie's, toning down their game so that, normal people can beat it.
Well, the thing you got to remember too is, the average player does not play as much as we do. And I think one of the things that we try to do, at least, is try to determine what is the optimal strategy when we walk into a raid or a strike or even a prison of elders, where you got other guys who just want to go in and have fun, and they're going to just shoot things and do their stuff. Meanwhile, we, however, really like to just dissect what's actually going on. You guys ever notice that? I mean, we do that a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if you really think about it, when we do King's Fall, it is like a science. That's how well we know that raid now.
Yep.
Oh, I think we definitely experienced that with Oryx whenever I tried to do Oryx at one time. And
you have an interesting perspective because you were a year one player that kind of fell off the wagon.
Yep.
But then after year 2 came out and this new contact came in, that's when you started playing again.
Oh yeah, so, I mean, I definitely got excited about it because I really wanted to get back into it, and now I'm just kind of addicted to it now. So
don't wait, it'll burn you. It'll burn you.
Yep.
All right. Well, we pretty much finished up topic 1, and you guys actually moved into topic 2 as well, talking about the challenge of elders. So, Zach, I'm going to let you go into your topic 3, unless you don't want to speak of this.
No, I do. So a major problem I've been having. I'm a big time Crucible player. Okay, as I'm sure a lot of you are. But the biggest problem I'm having is grenades, and Warlock grenades and lightning grenades from the Titans specifically. And as a hunter, if you guys are curious, I'm a primary hunter.
You mean Warlock grenades, right?
Yep, and Titan lightning grenades as well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Both grenades. Yep.
Yeah, don't ask me about Crucible. You guys all know how I feel about that.
I mean,
Listen, I play Warlock and I suck, so
I don't even think it's
conversation
so much the grenades for the Titan, yeah, but for the Warlocks, I mean, most of it has to do with perks, not even the grenades themselves.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
with Viking.
I mean, every time I'm a Warlock, and every time I throw my grenade at somebody, it seems like it barely even takes down their shield. I don't even.
But in all fairness, Nick, I mean, for somebody that goes, 2 and 18.
Oh, I know, dude, it's so bad.
Nick, I think the reason why you're not taking down their shield is because you're not hitting them with a grenade.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much a guaranteed shield down, like.
Yeah. I mean, Viking Funeral has to be one of the most overpowered perks there is in the game right now, and there's no doubt about it.
And they did not nerf, or they didn't do anything with it.
What they talked about was not being able to because it would break so many other things, and I guess that's hard for them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, because there's multiple perks involved here. It's on the Warlock tree. You need to have a Viking Funeral, and then you need to have the one that makes you burn in the first place. Plus, you're using the grenade. Yeah. So, if they were going to nerf it, what would they nerf? Would they nerf the Firebolt? Would they nerf Viking Funeral? Would they nerf the?
I think Viking.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I speak with John on this. You just say, screw it, don't play Crucible. That sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Well, I don't know. Crucible, if you can look beyond all the supers, all the grenades and all the bullshit, excuse my language, I think Crucible's a lot of fun because it gives you a little bit of Call of Duty, gives you a little bit of Halo, but it has it's Destiny, and that's the coolest part.
Yeah.
It's not like it's impossible to get to the lighthouse or win a match or anything. I mean, there's you two, Ross and Zach, both made it. Not even 10 minutes ago.
Yep, 20 minutes ago we were just at the lighthouse.
Yeah, shout out to Nkooch. He fucked us.
Yeah, yep. Our only loss is to Nkooch.
Well, here's my thing, all right? And this is speaking from an outsider, in Crucible, and every once in a while I'll come in and I will do Trials of Osiris with you guys, all right? There's definitely a certain meta within the game, and right now it seems like the meta is definitely a Warlock build with some sort of sniper rifle and the Doctrine of Passing, which is nothing more than just a bullet hose. When it starts hitting you in the face, it's game over.
It changes position.
Right, and another thing that Bungie is consistently doing, and they've never done a good job at it yet, is trying to make the Crucible fair and balanced. And I think the problem is there's just way too many variables with all the different guns and all the different perks and all the different builds. And it's like, if you truly want a competitive multiplayer in which, you are pinning, you're pitting the best against the best, you have to get rid of all that stuff and just have standard weapons with standard builds. That's it.
Yeah.
And that will never happen. So everybody's always going to be chasing the carrot, and that's hanging on the stick, to find out what the new meta is and what the new most powerful gun is and all that stuff. I mean, it happens every single weapons update they do. You ever notice that? It's like the first thing people do: what guns work and what guns don't.
Yeah. What's the best gun you can use? The best sniper for a while was the 1,000-yard stare, right?
I always get messed up with the 1,000-yard stare on Crucible. It's awful.
Tell us how you really feel, Nick.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
What do you mean?
Tell us about it.
All right.
Oh, you mean with the 1,000-yard stare? Oh, dude, it's ridiculous. I hate it. It's absolutely awful. There's no...
Real quick question for you guys. Since we're talking about the 1,000-yard stare, what's your opinions on the 1,000-yard stare and other high-impact snipers being able to res snipe you? So as soon as you're getting revived, you're dying, and basically you're essentially a defenseless receiver in this situation.
Right. Well, that's why you gotta push them out of the way. As soon as you revive them, you gotta push
That's
them.
easier said than done.
Right.
It's very much easier said than done.
No, I mean, originally when the 1,000-yard stare became relevant, that was a huge issue. But now the meta has changed where even low-impact snipers, I believe Dato said, they have to have an impact rating of 16 and get a res snipe now with the new changes that have been made resing. And I think that before the pushing people when they got rezzed became a thing, it was a huge issue. But now that most snipers can res snipe and everyone can push in some way, whether you're shade stepping or just shoulder charging or pushing or doing anything, it's not as big of an issue as it was.
Well, I don't know. In my eyes, I see Bungie, instead of fixing the cause and just completely eliminating res sniping, they're making it so more snipers are able to do it, which I guess favors more people because not everyone has a 1,000-yard stare and such. But I don't know. I don't think that's...
You're not playing Crucible if you don't have a 1,000-yard stare. Let's be
It's
honest.
almost like they're cutting corners the whole time rather than assessing the full situation. I mean, they can only do so many things to cover it up, but the fact lies that in the middle of it all, it won't change.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to this next question here, and I want to make this one quick. I'm just going to go around the table, and I'm going to ask you guys each this question, so let's try and see what kind of answers we get. So, next topic is, what is the best raid of the three? And I'm not going to do the why part. We're going to keep that out for now. We're going to keep this short. So, me personally, I'll go first. I personally like Vault of Glass. We'll go to Nick.
Oh, I definitely like Crota the best.
Okay.
Zach.
I'm gonna have to go with Vault of Glass as well.
John.
Vault of Glass.
Oh, come on.
Mike, come on, baby.
There's another Vault of Glass in here.
Oh, come on.
No words. Wow. Nick with Crota. Wow, the underdog.
That's because that's the only raid he's ever completed.
Wow.
The one thing I'll add that I'll kind of just open the floor to anyone that wants to talk to this is, since most of us picked Vault, I'd like to hear collectively why you guys think that. Who the people who said that, Nick, you're kind of out.
I really got to say, the thing that for a while before I even knew what a raid was, I was getting bored with Destiny. I didn't get the whole thing, but Jay float in here, John, took me with Ross Macklin, the other one in here, to show me the Vault of Glass, and as soon as the door opened, I lost it. It was probably the best thing I've ever seen in a video game. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Damn.
And then the mechanics of how that all worked together. The first thing I remember was killing the Templar. We had a friend using the relic, Ross, barking out orders as usual. And we did really well for only having a scraped up team, but it opened my eyes to what Destiny really is.
Well, I guess I'll go next. For me, it's definitely the teamwork involved.
Yep.
I just, and I guess what I'll do here is I'll kind of change it up a little bit. Instead of telling you why I love the Vault of Glass, I'll explain to you why I don't like the other ones as much.
Nice.
For me, the Crota raid if you can, a raid to me it involves teamwork, it involves communication, and it involves problem solving. All three of those are not existent inside Crota. I mean, I solo it by myself now.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. In all honesty,
You know?
how many of us here have actually soloed Crota? I know I have. John has.
Now King's Fall, the new, the most recent raid,
Mhm.
it definitely picks up. Or there's common elements, I guess. What I want to say is between Vault of Glass and King's Fall, there's the teamwork involved. You cannot solo it. Communication is key on everything, and I do like that. Now, to bring this back full circle with Vault of Glass, my God, what a beautiful raid! And one thing Bungie is amazing at is they really capture the essence of I guess the race that we're trying to defeat. For example, with the Vault of Glass, the Vex are very calculated. They're machines. Everything is precise, and that's exactly what that raid is. You got to be on top of your game. You're defending the confluxes, taking the Templar out, going through the maze. Everybody has to be precise, as if they're moving as one machine. And I think a good example of that is moving through the Gorgon maze. If you're not all moving together as a unit, you get caught and then you get a wipe. Now the Crota raid, it's fantastic because when I think of the Hive, I think of very intense. I think of in your face, loud, and that's exactly what that raid is. Now with King's Fall, I don't feel that identity with it because it's a little bit of Taken, and I thought the whole Taken King thing was supposed to be about the Taken.
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, there's only two places where you really see the Taken, and that's if you can't get War Priest down in 2 runs, and you can't get Golgoroth down in 2 runs. Other than that, there is 0 Taken, and I really thought there was going to be more of a Taken aspect to it, and there's not, and that's why I feel as though it lacks a certain identity where the other 2 completely nail it.
Well, I think what you're trying to say is what actually I think is incorrect is that when you think about when the Taken actually show up in those encounters, and then they're also at Oryx, they only show up when the Hive, aka the War Priest and Golgoroth, can't get the job done. So then Oryx is like, all right, we got to take these MFs and just start getting in their face. So they only show up. Like, think about when you do that mission where you have to steal Crota's soul, the essence from that shard. You fight that big ogre, and then as soon as you almost get him dead, he gets taken. Like, Oryx is like, all right, you can't do the job. I got to take you. Let's go. And I think that sort of fits. But you're right. There aren't enough Taken. You only fight him really at the end.
Yeah, I just wanted more Taken.
I agree.
I think they have a lot more
That's it.
time
I
to
just
do
wanted
it.
more Taken. This to me wasn't more like the Taken King. It was more like Oryx is reclaiming Crota's army, and if I need the big boys out, I'll throw the Taken in there. Other than that, I mean, it's called the Taken King. Come on now,
I know.
put Taken in it.
Wow.
All right.
You're definitely right.
I have a
Zach,
question
do
for
you
you
have anything
guys.
to say?
No, I have a question to elaborate on this topic.
All right.
Since we're talking about raids in general, I'm gonna extend this to PoE as well. Which boss, end game boss, do you guys think was the most challenging to complete, such as Atheon, Crota, Skolas, and Oryx?
What raid boss was the most difficult to?
What end game boss? It could be Yep,
He's
or
talking
Skulls.
that Prison of Elders, anything.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, guys. You go first.
Dude, in their time, every single one of them was a pain. Like Atheon, when we were all like level 28s trying to do it on hard, he was ridiculous because there's so much that could go wrong when you get teleported in. Crota on hard was ridiculous until people started like really figuring it out and hunters became king.
They unplugged their LAN cable. That's how they beat it.
Get him to never stand back up. And then I think actually Oryx might have been one of the easier ones. I feel like he's not like too bad because you don't really like he himself isn't a threat. It's the other things in that fight that are a threat. And
Ross,
Skull,
I completely agree with you on that because Oryx was it seemed like it was really complex, but you're right. And then when challenge mode came out, and then you got all 16 blights at once, it was almost as if the challenge mode was actually easier than the regular mode that we've been doing,
I
or the
agree.
regular strategy.
I agree 100%.
And I was really disappointed with that.
when it comes
disappointed with that.
to Skolas, then I think Skolas was actually difficult too, but the problem that arose with him that didn't make him that hard was the fact that there was so many different ways to kind of cheese it, whether you're doing like a No Land Beyond run where you got all the ammo to drop, or you're using your icebreaker. You'd use the No Land Beyond till you ran out of ammo, then you'd like pull out the icebreaker and kill, and then the only things that would drop were heavy, and you would just use Galahorn. And there's no way for them to really fix that, whereas with the Crota dropping to his knee with the land cable and never getting back up, that was fixed. And those ended up continuing to be challenges, whereas Skolas and Oryx are still similarly difficult as they were when they were relevant.
And it's funny that you brought up the Galahorn. I mean, that's how they thought they would fix it, to get rid of stuff like that. And, I mean, another cutting corners thing, in my opinion.
Nope.
I don't know. I think that the most difficult boss to take down, I would have to say, would be Atheon, and it's not because of Atheon. It's because of what you have to do to get into that little middle island and start shooting him. I mean, you got to keep at least one guy alive on the outside, and then you have those harpies or whatever they're called, supplicants or whatever.
Yep.
They come over and blow up. You got to make sure you keep the gate open, and then you got two other guys on the inside. They're shooting oracles, and you always hear the same thing. I can't see. And it's like, hold on, it's charging. I'll come get you.
Yep.
You know, so it's not Atheon itself. I mean, Atheon is a bullet sponge. It's getting there. Crota, simple. You know, all you needed was rocket launcher. That's it. And you're right, Ross. I think it was you who said, and the hunter became king. If you had a hunter, you were fine.
Yep.
And then with Oryx, it's nothing more than just, okay, if it's on easy or if it's on normal mode, sit down on your plate, don't die, run into the middle, and then if it's on hard mode, it's shoot your knight, then sit down, and then run into the middle.
I think the Titan is the king for the King's Fall one, because
most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think Oryx definitely has the hardest jumping puzzle out of all of them. I think this is my opinion. I think I've died more times on the moving platforms than I think of any other raid.
I'm sure you can't think of one other part of a raid you might have fallen a bunch.
I
Honestly, I don't.
Vault of Glass.
I agree with him.
well.
Vault of Glass, before you were able to just go to the far right and jump right down with triple jump or whatever. Before that, I think that was harder, but I agree with him.
So everybody figured out how everything worked.
Yeah.
One thing that I forgot to mention that I'd like you guys to just kind of comment on when I'm done. If you think about all the end game activities today, so we have Skolas, Oryx, Crota, and Atheon, all on their hardest difficulty. Crota actually I think is the only one where you can actually most of the time, if you're gonna die, you're only gonna die from enemies, whereas Atheon you can die from being blind or whatever. Oryx you can die from a multitude of things, whether it be like being sucked in, or you could get the relic and then you could fall, or anything along those lines.
Not staggering them.
Yeah, and you can all the doxologies. You're right. Skolas, you can die from like not getting your mines or whatever, and then Crota is the only one where like you can't die from a mechanic. You're gonna die if you're gonna die at all. It's from enemies, and most of the time that won't happen. Usually the mechanic is what kills people.
A quick interruption on that is I agree 100%. Except Crota, you can die from the Oversoul. So if one guy dies, then everybody will die.
That was so relevant.
Yeah. How many times have we gone into Crota hard, even normal? You know, but I think we experienced it more with hard. How many times have we had to wipe because it was a glitch, or you know,
that always happened. I remember that.
Or you know, hey, on my screen, you know, his shield was completely down. I mean, that raid was just
plagued.
It was plagued. Yeah, good word. It was plagued. It was terrible.
You see,
it was terrible.
You see so many YouTube videos. Go ahead, John.
Oh, I know. I was just gonna say, you know, just with Vault of Glass and even King's Fall, they knocked it out of the park. And I think with Vault of Glass, it was even a bigger home run. It was just, you know, it was fantastic. It really, really was.
I definitely think Atheon had the most going on, like whenever you're actually fighting him, and I think that was probably the best part of it. I think that's my opinion. I definitely like Atheon. I definitely like that end boss probably the most. Even though Crota was my favorite raid, and as a whole, I definitely like Atheon the best.
Atheon had the best weapons. For sure.
Yeah, we'll never see those again.
Yep.
Yeah.
If they bring
What do you
Vision of
say?
Confluence.
Cutting out those year ones.
Oh my god, the Fatebringer,
Year one. So.
Fatebringer. What was it? Fatebringer, Galahorn, and Black Spindle combo was
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
dope.
Black
Yeah.
Hammer back then.
I just want them
Yeah.
to bring
Black,
the Vex
yeah.
back to where it was when like nobody knew what it was, and in Crucible it was absolutely broken, and like it just two-shot you with no recoil, and people were just like, "What is this gun?" The Vex Mythoclast. That gun back then was a myth. Necrochasm was just a disappointment. Touch of Malice is only good in the raid, and then what did Skolas have? I don't even know. Freaking Lord of Wolves, Dreg's Promise, and Queenbreakers. Yeah, making sense.
That's
Yeah, poop,
None of them
poop.
really did anything.
the
Man, I think you're right, Tech. Now, you're right, though, that those were the best guns, but they were the hardest ones to drop.
but that was the most fun.
Absolutely
That was the most
hardest.
fun.
And
They
it
were-
was. That's what kept us
They
playing.
were the
There's
least
no doubt
common.
about it. We played, I think, Ball to Glass more than Crota, even when both of them were out.
Dude, because none of us had a Vex. I was the last one to get one.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
I never even.
I miss the like if you want a Galahorn, you got to get lucky. You got to drop. But
Oh,
now,
yeah.
now, the best
Yeah.
heavies are the exotic swords, and if you want your exotic, you got to grind it out. I don't like that. I'd rather
Dude,
Yeah.
get lucky. Like,
Were you guys?
Everybody gets
Were you
the-
guys? I think you guys were in the fire team when we did Crota. No, I'm sorry. We did a Nightfall, and I got a Galahorn as a reward. And then we had a Crota checkpoint, so we went over and did that real fast, and I got another Galahorn.
Yeah,
I was in the
remember
And
that.
I think like 2 hours later, I got my third Galahorn.
Wow, I was there
That was a while ago, man.
and had not one Galahorn.
Yeah. Yep. Mike took about 2 years to get the damn.
And that's actually what I was gonna say. I think Mike probably took the longest to get the Galahorn. I never really,
Well,
I
I
never
did.
got one, but
I was real sour about it. I mean, you guys didn't make it any better when every 3 seconds you'd hear, "Hey, I got a Galahorn."
Yeah.
Then all I see is Exotic Shard right across the left of the screen.
Well, speaking of exotics, I guess maybe we should move on to the next topic here. What do you think, guys?
Yep.
The
Let's
new
do it.
guns.
Which is, are we excited about the available gear from Xur? I'll
Oh,
answer that with one
Oh.
answer. With one word. Nope.
Not at all.
Nope, not at all. It's useless, man.
Yeah, he is.
Everything's
He's
useless.
There's nothing I need from him ever again, other than the 3 of coins.
Yep.
And even then, I can care
You
less.
just
if I
farm
don't-
for it.
Yeah, if I don't have them, I don't have them. I don't.
You know what Owen did? He told me, he's just like, yeah, I spent 100 coins on heavy ammo synth, so he had 300 heavy ammo synth, donated them all to his faction, and then he used another 100 or 200 or so on just 3 of coins. That's where he spent all of his coins on heavy ammo. And
Yeah, well, I think it's 100 heavy ammo cents, and that will get you one trip around the diamond
Yep.
for your faction.
Nice,
So
I
he
didn't
ranked
know
up. Yeah, he ranked up to number 3, so he got his armor and everything now, so that's good.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's what he's good for. And they even nerfed that. Now you don't even get 5 heavy ammo synth anymore. You get 3.
Yep. Exactly.
I still remember when they tried to tell us they kept the Galahorn in the rotation, and they had one day where there was no gun. Hard to explain that one.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
piece. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then wasn't it like the following week or 2 weeks after that?
Yeah, we
Galahorn
got
dropped?
everybody got a Galahorn. It was
Yeah.
probably about 2 weeks after I finally got mine.
Yeah,
It's
and I-
worthless.
Ironically, the Taken King came out 2 weeks later or a week later.
Mm-hmm. Do you guys think 3 coins are overpriced? Does it seven strange coins for 5? And
I don't think it's
chances are-
overpriced. I think it should be more. I mean,
No,
for
I
us to get
disagree.
exotics that quickly,
Well-
I think it should be more.
Well, none of us have the luck that you have, Mike. Because
Well,
I mean,
Now, wait a minute. Before you even say anything, how about last DLC? Every other DLC, you've been lucky. Now, if you put yourself in everybody else's shoes, I mean, I know I got 2 Zen Meteors. I
Yeah,
understand
you
that.
shut the
But
hell up.
I didn't want that. I wanted it to be harder.
I know.
Now I
Okay,
have nothing to do.
I get it. Well, for the average person, the unlucky average person,
that's me.
you'll probably get 1 exotic out of every, let's say, 10 3 coins. So I don't know if that's. I mean, 1.
Yeah, I don't know if that's worth it actually.
Just putting you in control of your own luck, basically, instead of just playing the game and endlessly getting nothing, like in year 1 and like we did. You can actually be in control and listen. Like, if you want to spend your coins on these 3 coins, you're gambling, but it's fine. You'll be more likely to get more exotics than you would be if you weren't using any. So it's just similar to buying supply drops in Call of Duty or something. It's just, if you want more stuff faster, you pay for it.
Which I don't actually like. I don't really like the whole supply drop thing, and I really do hope it doesn't come to Destiny. I really hope not.
Don't worry. One of these updates, we're gonna see Xur. He'll have like a special pack of whatever those stupid coins are.
Oh, the silver.
200
The 3 of
silver.
coins, yeah, it'll be we'll have to buy silver because Ross,
Yeah.
I'm going to piggyback off of what you just said. If you want something faster, just buy it.
Yep.
I did. I'm going
Like the new Taken gear. If you don't, if you want to just buy it, which that's a slippery slope.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
we'll save that topic for a next show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 45-minute episode right there just on that.
Oh, I could go on and on about that. How bad of a business that
Get
thing
your
is.
popcorn.
Oh man.
All right, well, I guess we can, J-Ran, this next topic, I'm skipping over 6 for obvious reasons, but we can go on to topic 7 here, and you have your name here, so if you want to introduce that as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
I didn't even read topic 6.
Yeah, no. Topic 7 is now that the new content has officially dropped, and in our opinion, what do we like most about the content? Is it the guns? Is it the shaders? Is it the armor? A mixture of the two? I just like to know what you guys like.
I'll hit you up with this real quick. One thing. 1-to-1 infusion. I'm done.
That is very nice. That's a beautiful thing, that 1-to-1 infusion.
See, I agree with Ross 100%, but a little thing on my shoulder, a little son of a bitch on my shoulder, he's telling me that that's not the best, because if you go into this April update with like 319, 320, such as myself, everything is dropping so fast. You get 331. I mean, I'm sitting here at 332 already, and the thing's been out for 2 days, and that's on 2 characters, and I only have 2 characters. So
Right, but you have we spoke about this earlier. You have 2 of the
200.
same character.
yeah, but listen. So if everything's 1 for 1, and you get a gauntlets for a hunter, you can easily move them onto your warlock, and boom.
Right, but how many people sat there and said, okay, I have a 315 exotic whatever, Thunderlord, just using that as an example.
Okay.
And then you got a 320 drop
Yeah.
from or better yet, let's do it this way, because I think this will make more sense for everybody involved. Let's say you got a 315 helmet, exotic, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then, Orcs dropped it, or you did the Orcs challenge, and you got the 320 helmet. Now, the 320 helmet is great, but you like your exotic helmet. How many people did not infuse their 320 helmet into the 315 helmet because you only got 4 light, and that exotic wouldn't be 320, it would only be 319?
Yeah, I
You
held on.
wouldn't infuse it.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't infuse it.
Yeah, I agree.
And that happened. I mean, that's why a lot of people don't have a 320 Black Spindle. Well, now they do, obviously, because the 1-to-1 infusion rate. But before it was, I don't want to lose, it's not going to be worth it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I guess you're right.
What about you? What about you, Nick? What do you like, since you're the new guy on the block?
Yeah.
You moved away, and then you moved back.
I definitely like Desolate gear. I think that's probably my favorite thing out of the new out of the update. I just think it looks cool, but I do think it's annoying that every time I play with Zach, I always accidentally shoot him.
Well, he has the Taken gear on, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I
Um,
do that all the time.
But I like the shaders too. Are probably my favorite favorite shaders out of all of them.
Yeah, they're
So-
cool.
Yeah, that is one field I've been lucky at. I gotta say, these shaders are starting to look really nice. I mean, my
Oh, yeah.
guy looks like Hulk Hogan right now. With
Oh yeah, that's right. It does look like Hulk Hogan. It's pretty funny.
I haven't got one shader yet.
Wow.
Wow.
Not one.
You gotta play more. Man. Play a lot of Crucible.
You
That's where they
gotta
drop.
play more than your 64 days, Bob.
Yeah, calling them out.
All right, well, since I asked the question, maybe I should answer the question.
Let's hear it.
Honestly, I really, really just like the guns and the content for one. Or, I'm sorry, not content. The guns and the armor for once. I really like them.
Mm.
As far as the Crota drops, the only thing I really liked were the boots because you got that extra heavy ammo.
Black Hammer.
Yeah, and the Black Hammer, that was it. As far as the House of Wolves, I didn't like anything out of that. I just thought it was all bad. In fact, did any of us have any any House of Wolves gear on?
Absolutely not.
No.
I don't think so.
Idiots. You look like you're wearing a diaper half the time.
Yeah, no, I mean that those guns and the gear, they were terrible. But then once Taken King came out, Hung Jury was awesome. It still is. It's my go-to scout rifle.
If you got it before, they took Firefly off of it.
Well, now it is. But yeah, now that this content has dropped, I think the guns are really cool. The chroma is awesome. Although I don't understand why we can't create our own colors. Because if you look at the colors they gave us red, blue, and what else?
Yellow and white.
Right. Aren't now we're missing green. If we had green, then we'd have the primary colors. And if you have primary colors, you can make any color on the color spectrum.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
So why can't my thing is why can't we mix these together? And maybe it's because of the limitations based off of the older systems. Because if you remember, they couldn't expand the vault because of the old system. So what they did is that compare feature. Like when we hold in, I don't know if it's like right trigger or left trigger or R2 or L2. We can compare our guns. I don't think the old systems can do that. So they got rid of that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping Destiny, whatever it's going to be called, Destiny 2 or next Destiny, whatever. I hope it is not on PS3 and Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
It'll
not.
ruin it.
Yeah,
Those things are holding us back. But
definitely.
that's another show. That's another topic for another time.
I definitely think that the chroma can be expanded on, but yeah, I'll leave that for another day.
So.
All right, now, so I guess the last thing that we're gonna have to talk about here is the grimoire being outside of the game and not inside of the game. Now, this for me is a huge mistake that Bungie's made. I don't know why. I have no idea why these things aren't in the game. I didn't even realize when the Taken King came out that you could scan certain objects because I was so used to just run and shoot, and that when I deleted my one character and started doing it again, and I just walked through everything to look at, all the art and everything. Because Destiny is a gorgeous game, beautiful game. I love the way like Earth is set up. Venus is gorgeous. It's fantastic looking.
Yeah.
But when you get on that dreadnought, I mean, you definitely feel like you're on a ship. You definitely feel like you're almost alone. They gave me that sense of feeling. It's dark, it's dreary, or whatever the word is. Can't say it correctly, nor do I care.
Mathematician.
But you definitely feel that way, and I'm glad that's the way they wanted us to feel. But my God, the lore and the story behind everything. If you start reading the grimoire cards, that's great. But you got to go out and you got to find these things, and then you got to unlock them. It's just terrible. Can somebody please tell me why the Fallen are fighting the Hive on Earth?
Yeah.
Or even on the Moon? I mean, we have no idea why. None whatsoever.
It's true.
They had so many opportunities to make a great story.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they have so much good lore in there. Like they have so many good characters and set pieces that they could have used for in a really good story. But that's one of the reasons why I think I stopped playing Destiny is because there wasn't as good of a story as I was hoping that there would be. But that's just my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, why is it when I land in the excursion zone on Mars, I hop on my Sparrow and I go over to the next loadable space? I see Cabal, I see Vex, I see shooting. I don't know why they're shooting each other.
Yep.
I know that if I have a bounty, I got to kill them.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they really missed a good opportunity to actually have you fly your ships to like the next planet instead of just having that loading screen. I think that would have been a really cool feature that they would have added, or have something more to do with your sparrows as well.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I think that's why the popularity of the grimoire, the audible grimoires on YouTube actually has blown up because people are interested in the lore, but they don't want to have to go and find it themselves. They'd rather
exactly.
listen.
Oh yeah, I mean there are a lot of amazing podcasts out there that will take the lore, maybe one card like the last word, and they connect it to other lore cards, and then they bring the story together, and then into a nice coherent thought, and you're like, man, this is great. Why didn't Bungie do this?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is their game, and yet we are doing the heavy work for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
Me neither.
I mean, do you think they felt
It's
too
even-
pressured?
Well, they could have even thought that this would be a great idea, but they kind of made it a little, too hard for the normal gamer to even figure out. I mean, the idea was there; it was not put into the right, perspective.
Do you think that they are so focused and so wrapped up on creating more and more DLCs and adding these things? Like maybe they had this envision about that, but they're like, hey, a year and a half from now, let's make it a DLC and make people pay for it to learn all this stuff.
Well, if you saw in the commercials, like you thought that there was going to be this grand story that was going to go down, but whenever when you first started it, you played a couple hours and really the story was over until the next DLC came out, until Crota came out. There really wasn't any story to play.
Yeah, welcome to Activision's marketing department.
Oh yeah, I mean that's
They're
just
good at that.
yeah.
I think if it wasn't for the end game and all the grind after the story, this game would be right in the poop.
Yeah.
I think Bungie knew they had a good game on their hands. I mean, obviously they're not going to want to make a crappy game. They knew they had a good game. They knew it was going to sell. They knew they had the fan base from Halo and the Xbox franchise. I don't think they realized how good it was going how good it was going to be for their fan base. Because I feel like we are just dying for content. Deej today on Twitter put, now that the update has happened, what's on your wish list?
Yeah, I saw that.
And as I was going through the comments, everybody was more content.
Yeah,
And I don't think they realized how big this was going to be. I really don't.
Pressing a strike this time didn't really fill that void.
Well, yeah, I mean, even some of the statistics based off of when they were designing the game and everything, they calculated that the average player was going to spend about 45 minutes to an hour per day on Destiny. When the fact of the matter is, it's 3 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, people are there are people devoting 3 hours of their day to this game.
Yeah.
It's
3 hours plus. There's a lot
Yeah,
of people play more.
I don't think they took that into consideration.
You know what? I think the fact that it's kind of treated, for lack of better words, as a job because new stuff happens weekly. I think that keeps people, willing to be like, next
wait.
Tuesday is the reset. Like I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna keep playing. You know what I mean? Whereas if there was none of that, then you could, just like any other game, you could beat the game, you could do all this. I mean, if I beat Crota and that was it, I'd be done. But because Zur comes back next Friday and the Nightfall restarts on Tuesday, we're gonna keep playing, and it's kind of like a job in a sense because you're on this game more than you.
How many times have you sat there and went, "Holy crap! It's Sunday night.
No,
I got Monday to do 3 raids and a Nightfall."
Exactly.
Yeah, we all have.
Yep.
And you're scrambling to try to find people and everything. That's once again another topic for another show. Why isn't there matchmaking in the old raids and stuff like that?
Exactly.
To get people back into the old content.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if that was such a big deal in the beginning, why was nothing fixed?
And like I said, I mean, there's a lot of gripes I got with how how they're doing things. Like I said, another show, another topic.
Yep.
So everybody will have to tune back in for that one.
Yeah, exactly. And one more thing for another show is, if you weren't a year one player, I don't think Destiny is what it's hyped up to be. Because unless you played from the beginning, back when it was Atheon and Crota, I mean, if you're coming in just for Oryx and then I don't know, you won't get the same experience. It's nowhere near as fun.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
No, I was saying I definitely think that $40 was probably a little bit too much for even like DLC for the Taken King. I don't think there was enough content really to justify a $40 price tag. That's almost as much as a season pass for some of these games. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's actually kind of funny, and this was something John had told me that I thought was interesting. He played with somebody that was basically what we thought was a year 2 player. He said, why don't we do Vaulted Glass? Why don't we try it out with all these guys, show them how to do it? And the guy said, you know what, I hate that raid. And the thing is that I think that those guys hate that raid is because they don't know how to do it. They're year 2 players, and they expect it, to be a lot easier than what it really is. Back when, Vaulted Glass was a lot harder.
Well, it's not only that. I mean, why do the old content when
you can't get anything?
Right, when the rewards
That's
are
another one, too.
130 light level. I mean, there's no reason to do it.
And
Destiny has all this old content that is just fantastic to play, and yet they've made us streamline into basically like a conveyor belt. This is what you're gonna do. This is King's Fall. This is Prison of Elders. This is how you're gonna get to the max level. Other than that, all the other stuff is gone. It's like having all this great stuff behind them, and they're just letting it. They're throwing out to the trash.
Yeah.
They quit the sandbox idea and put in a linear.
Well, on that note, this has been the first episode of News from the Nine featuring Ross Macklin.
Zach Tedesco.
Yep.
Go ahead, Nick. John.
Mike Float.
We promise people we will get better at this. This is the first one. Bear with us.
Wow.
And I'm sure if this is on YouTube or something, there'll be more information about us in the description if you'd like to hear more about our thoughts. And we'll see you next time, Guardians.
Real quick, Guardians, as a little side note, we're going to be on YouTube. We eventually will be on Twitch, and we will have a SoundCloud account, so that way you can play us and just listen to us as you're commuting from work or wherever. So stay tuned for that. Links will be in the description.
All right, good night, everybody.